Are you experiencing moments where your thoughts feel cloudy? Are you having trouble finding the right words? Do you sometimes go into a room and you have no idea why you went there? Do you keep losing your keys and your phone and things like that you usually were not having issues with? You're not alone. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects millions of women: menopausal brain fog. And here's the good news: not only is it temporary, but with the right strategies, you can emerge stronger and sharper than before. So let's talk about it. What is brain fog really? Common symptoms are fuzzy thinking, difficulty concentrating, reduced mental sharpness, feeling like your thoughts are wrapped in cotton somehow. You have challenges, memory challenges. Like I said before, you walk into a room and you have no idea what you did there. You keep losing things, you keep forgetting things. Things that seemed really normal for you before to remember, all of a sudden you can't rely on your memory and on your brain to do that for you. Why is that? Let's dive into the science behind it pretty quickly. So, we have estrogen receptors located throughout the brain, specifically in the hippocampus, that's the memory center, in the prefrontal cortex, that's where you plan and where you make decisions. In the hypothalamus, that's where temperature and sleep gets regulated. Also in the limbic system, that's where emotions are processed. So estrogen receptors are everywhere throughout the body, but also specifically in the brain. And what's happening? Well, estrogen at some point starts going down, and that affects your brains very directly. One piece that is affected very heavily is the brain energy. So, your glucose metabolism and the energy that is present that your brain can process and that your brain can use is reduced. So in Lisa Mosconi's book, the Menopause Brain, she shows scans of brain activity and brain energy, and you can really see a difference. Then neurotransmitter production goes down, and also the signaling, so the neural transmissions, the signaling speed goes down, which is really interesting. So all of that is happening during perimenopause menopause transition, and it doesn't mean it stays that way. That's the thing that's really cool about this research. So the book from Lisa Mosconi, Menopause Brain, is super important. She's a professor focused on women's brain research, and she wrote this book. And of course, there's a lot more research needed, and we know this research is underfunded, underdone so far. But what this is showing is that menopause basically, and read the book if you want it to be explained really well. I'm going to do my best to explain it here. But menopause, basically, like puberty and like pregnancy, is simply an event where lots of hormones are changing, and the body but also the brain has to adjust to that, and it's an age of, or a time of restructuring in the brain. And during that time, things are a bit chaotic and go down a bit, but it's basically, the brain is basically undergoing remodeling, similar to puberty and pregnancy. And then afterwards, the brain can emerge with awesome benefits, in a way reshaped and restructured, with increased emotional mastery, greater empathy, enhanced life satisfaction, and more resilience. And we find back to our normal sharpness and lack of fuzziness that were missing during the transition. So that is a positive thing, that it goes, it's something that's temporary. It's not going to stay that way. What she also describes in the book, which is really interesting and helpful, is this, during pregnancy, during puberty, those brain changes and hormonal moments in the brain are kind of seen as normal. In menopause, they are more scary because we're getting older and we're worried about brain, a healthy aging brain. And that's where it's really clear that this time is a vulnerable time, which means menopause is a time where if we do the right things, if we take care of our brain right, we can emerge stronger, sharper, all the things, and we have to do it. So, what are the practical solutions? What can we do to support a healthy brain during perimenopause, menopause, and beyond so that we, have a healthy aging brain and we prevent as much as possible all those scary brain health issues that can come up and that we hear so much about. So, as you know, my pillars are nutrition, movement, and self care. So, let's start with nutrition. This is where we go into solution. What can we do? So, we focus on healthy nutrition, obviously, and three big topics that I'm going to briefly mention here are blood sugar regulation, gut health, and anti inflammatory nutrition. So, blood sugar regulation is important to eat in a blood sugar friendly way. That doesn't mean that your blood sugar is not going to go up and down. Blood sugar supportive nutrition means that you eat in a way that your blood sugar is not going to be in great stress, that it's not like huge spikes and huge downs, because you eat healthy and balanced meals. Healthy and balanced means a good balance of protein, lots of vegetable, complex carbohydrates, not simple carbohydrates, so not sugars and white flours, but complex carbohydrates like whole grains, but also lots of vegetables, also starchy vegetables, and then a little bit of healthy fat, right? Fiber, that's what keeps our blood sugar balanced nutrition. That's what we have to shoot for with every meal, with every snack. Everything has protein, it has fiber, lots of color, and a little bit of healthy fat. Okay, that's how you have a stable blood sugar response, a healthy one. Then, second topic, gut health. There's lots we can do for our gut health. Simple tricks: eat lots of different colors, eat lots of different plants, all those different um, prebiotics that are present in those plants support different gut bacteria, because a big variety of gut bacteria, so a big diversity, is healthy. So eat prebiotic foods and also probiotic foods, so fermented foods, stuff like that. Of course, there is also supplements that can support there, but that's a different topic. And then anti-inflammatory. Again, tons and tons of different colors and healthy fats. Um, so, and then there's specific supplements, and I will talk about anti-inflammatory nutrition in a separate video. But just for you to briefly look into the important topics: blood sugar regulation, gut health, anti-inflammatory, all of that supports your brain. Okay, like sugar metabolism, we talked about, that's something that's a problem for your brain health. Gut health, there's a gut brain connection. Your gut is super important for brain health. And inflammation is a problem. All these degenerative brain illnesses have a highly inflammatory component. Also, your brain is full of fat, so anti inflammatory and healthy fat is super important. What are key nutrients and supplements? Like omega-3 is super important, especially high in DHA. B vitamins are important: magnesium, vitamin D. Creatine can be a super supportive brain supplement. It is good for healthy muscle and also for a sharp brain. So creatine, really something that's more and more recommended for women our age. Okay, let's talk about movement, strategic movement to support your brain health. Lots and lots to talk about here. I will keep it short. Moving is super important for a healthy brain. Moving in all kinds of ways, ideally, because also going backwards, forwards, sideways, doing different movement just keeps you sharp and fit and trained in your brain. But also in terms of the metabolic benefits, right? Because a healthy metabolism supports a healthy brain. Like there's also brain metabolism, cell health happening in your brain. So if your mitochondria are broken and your cell metabolism doesn't work, that damages your brain. So healthy metabolism is supported by movement. Both strength and cardio, both are super important for a healthy metabolism. What has actually been found is that a good combination of strength training and cardio is optimal for brain health. Strength training at least 2 to 3 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes. Like, let's say 3 times a week, 30 minutes strength training is great, and then some cardio to add to that. It can be light, low intensity, less cardio, low intensity, steady state. And then there can be some small HIIT HIIT training, but short and intense. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes max, 8 times max. That's it in terms of the high intensity. No 45-minute high intensity classes. That's too much for women in our age bracket, in our metabolic and hormonal states usually. Of course, there's exceptions, but as a general recommendation, good combination of strength and cardio. Strength is non-negotiable. Also, the myokines, right? Like muscles release myokines, which is like a hormone-like substances that repair and support healthy tissue all around your body. Super important myokines for brain health are being researched currently and seen. So active muscle, specifically active, and lots is released through strength training. And by building muscle, having more muscle also means more myokines. That supports brain health. It's like this magic muscle medicine that's happening. Okay. Also, tons of studies that show obviously improved blood flow will help brain health, but you can show better cognitive function, mood stabilization. So, movement is an antidepressant, right? Like proper cognitive function and also show social connection. All is supported by movement, and all of that supports a healthy brain. So, movement non negotiable. Lastly, my last pillar is, as you know, it's nutrition, it's movement, it's self care. Self care specifically here means sleep and stress management. So, sleep is super important for a healthy brain because the brain cleans itself in during sleep, right? It goes through a big cleaning process, and that's actually one of the most important pieces of sleep, is that our brain gets cleaned up and cleans up, kicks out everything that's garbage, basically. And that is so important. So if sleep is an issue for you, which it is for many of us, make sure you have the right strategies set up to support yourself, like sleep hygiene, right? Cool room, dark room, no screen time, at least an hour before bed or even longer. Lots of movement during the day, and then gentle at night, quiet at night, low lights at night, light exposure in the morning, and then low light at night, right? All of those things that support healthy sleep, make sure you do those, because there's studies that show that those executed consistently are as supportive or more supportive actually than sleep medication, because sleep medication always down the line has issues, right? It can probably help quickly sometimes, but then either you get addicted or you get other issues through sleep medication. So those sleep hygiene habits are super important. I will have a separate video about that as well soon. There's a blog on my website that you can look at. So that's about sleep. And then also, what else was there that I wanted to say about sleep? Relaxation techniques, of course, and a consistent sleep schedule, super important, right? So be super consistent with your sleep, fight for your sleep as much as you can, have clear boundaries, and take sleep really seriously, because that's important for you, for your energy, and for your brain health. And then stress management. Obviously, stress management, super important for brain health as well. Again, social connection helps with stress. We've talked about that in the movement bucket a little bit as well. Social connections are healthy for you and your brain. How can you navigate stress? Positive social connection can help. Um, like little recovery moments throughout your day, strategically placed, a little bit of breathing here, a little walk here, a few minutes with a good book or half an hour with a good book here, like really strategically planning little, I call them islands throughout your day that are yours and yours to keep. Those are the times where you can be with yourself, calm down, connect with yourself, and check in how you're doing. That is tremendously helpful in stress management. And I know that sounds like, oh, who has time for that? Make time for that. It can be 5 minutes here, 5 minutes of breathing, a little bit of journaling, a little bit of walking and being with yourself. That's where the magic happens. That's where you can come down. And obviously, trying, we all need to try to have as much positive stress in our life, but support that with the right amount of recovery and the right nutrition to make it positive stress, and to get rid of negative stress by saying no as much as we can. Of course, sometimes we can't. So let's find the right strategies to support ourselves. That also enormously important for brain health. So I know that's a lot, and we can talk a lot more about all these things. But just to summarize, number one, brain fog, brain issues you're experiencing during the menopause transition, not a permanent state. Totally normal. Don't freak out about it. Don't be impatient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. You know, work around it at the moment. Like, I write everything down right away because I forget everything. So I used to always have 20 things in my head and knew exactly what I wanted to not forget. Not happening at the moment. So I am trying to be kind to myself, not always successfully, but I'm trying. And I invite you to also try. Be kind to yourself, help yourself, structure things nicely, make it easier on yourself. Don't multitask like crazy as much as we used to. Take it down a notch and write down what you need to remember so you don't run around like a chicken with your head cut off at all times. You still will a little bit, but that's okay. So your brain is not failing you, it's adapting. With the right support, you can emerge from this transition stronger and more resilient than ever. So let's make sure we set up our nutrition, our movement, and our self care the right way. And how, I will talk about lots more in my videos. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, look at my website, read my blog, do my courses. I help you figure out nutrition, movement, and the right self care for this transition. And I offer personal coaching packages that are fantastic, where we can go really deep and individualize everything for you. So, looking forward to meeting you. Subscribe to this channel, hit that bell thing so that you don't miss any videos, and talk soon.